In this video, I'm going to be philosophizing on self-intelligence. And it's important to understand that philosophizing on anything really requires self-intelligence. We can't actually engage meaningfully in philosophizing if we don't consider the aspects of mind and body that are conducive to some other component of existence that's actually more meaningful, and that's the self. And without understanding ourselves and developing knowledge in regards to our higher order cognitions and emotions that have these higher organizations in which we organize specific classified classifications of meaningful information within codified systems of knowledge, in which we can represent the various characters and symbolizers of the mind, say within language and visual representors of language, in which we can draw out specific letters and combine them into words, in which those words have meaning. And most meaning is derived from words, not from letters that are individualized. And it's the individualized words in which those have those higher emergent properties, much like the self, and not so much a single body part or component of the mind, not just memory or language processing or associative learning that connects meaningfully our memories towards creative thinking processes that we can increase the access to knowledge in more meaningful ways. What really makes life worth living is self-intelligence processes and our capacity to be able to engage in the auto-intelligentsia, boundness to the situatedness of our of existence regarding to each of our individualized thinking processes, and capacity to think more freely and on the basis of these creative perceptions, actions, and behaviors in which we can conduct and express ourselves in unique ways that reflect our unique properties of existence, and which give us the capacity to engage more meaningfully in life through cultivating meaningful emotions. And as we develop not just a knowledge of these emotions and higher order cognitions that are flowing through our experience near every moment to moment, sekundisch, but which tend to also allow us to be able to engage more of this metacognition and a capacity to reflect on our own thinking and behaviors and different instinctives, in which we can understand and reflect more deeper into the aspects of our self that we might not like and the parts that we really do like, and to focus more on the positivities of specific situations, being able to bring those out and cultivate more optimums of meaningful emotion. And as we do this, we can also develop a greater self-intelligence as we learn to regulate our emotions, and not just regulate our emotions, regulate our perceptions and behaviors and actions in these self-directed courses of learning, in which we can also engage more free agency and free thinking capacities in increasing our self-intelligence by developing a greater knowledge of who we are as individuals and how we are separate from others, and individualize ourselves from others, and individualize our thinking through these internalizations, and engage more imaginatively in the world and thinking more creative through this lateral thinking process in which we're connecting various associativities within our representative framing of meaningful information as we're developing our perspectives on various topics in which are different from others, in which we can become more nuanced and sophisticated in our conducts. And this allows us to not just gain more awareness into ourselves, but more awareness and knowledge into the environment. And so when we see something around, there's a whole matter of subject matters that can come to mind in regards to that material substance. And that material substance is everything that exists is really composed of substances and material substances that have a physicality to them, but also in which there's information bound, and which those information processes are preliminarily cognitive in regards to how we can actually think and meaning interpretation them meaningfully, because we have to actually get into that information process. Even though we tend to perceive things primarily preliminarily as meaning first rather than information, it requires us to be able to get to that cognizing and to think on information and not so much on meaning per se, but to be able to then connect that more to our meaningful emotions, to be able to transcribe that into a translation of what's meaningful to the self, and which improves our navigations and coordinations and allows us to engage that well-calibrated process of thinking. And that's all I want to say for this video, so I hope you have an awesome one. Bye.